If you're not familiar with the name Austin Metcalf, or if you're familiar with the tragedy but don't think it's being talked about enough, here is the ugly truth. That is all by design. A 17-year-old white boy was stabbed in the chest with a knife by a black boy, and he later died in the hospital, and no one bats an eyelid. No one cares. Yet, we all know the truth. If the roles were reversed, if it was a black boy who was stabbed by a white boy and he ended up dying, it would be a national outrage. So there would be wall-to-wall media coverage. Yes, even despite the tariffs going on right now, the Democrats, BLM would be out in the streets. I mean, we would be talking about this for months. It would be yet the latest indictment of just how racist and terrible and systemically oppressive America is, right? We all lived it with George Floyd, who, as tragic as that incident was, it's not as if George Floyd was the model human being. Yet here we have a minor, 17-year-old, who was a great student, high grades, a gifted athlete, was accepted into multiple colleges, friends, family, teachers all said he was an excellent, outstanding young man. Right here is a role model of what we want our young children to be like when they grow up, someone to emulate as they approach their senior year of high school. Yet no one cares because he's white. And there is so much wrong with that picture. It shows the double standards of the left, and it shows the moral and societal decay that is happening under the influence of the Democrat Party. So just in case you're not familiar with the case, what happened was in Frisco, Texas, there was a track meet, and Carmelo Anthony was under a tent of the opposing team. It was the team that Austin Metcalf was on. Well, he was under that tent, and Austin Metcalf comes back, and he says to Carmelo, "Hey, you're in my seat." And Carmelo says, "Well, no, I'm not moving. I'm going to sit here." And he, quote unquote, says, touch me and see what happens. Now, by all reports, Austin Metcalf did reach out, either to put his hand on an arm or a hand on the shoulder, but what happened next was Carmelo Anthony grabbed a knife out of his backpack and just, boom, stabbed Austin Metcalf in the chest. And his twin brother, Austin Metcalf's twin brother, was there, held him in his arms as his brother was dying. Now, Austin Metcalf was rushed to the hospital. He died, succumbed to the wounds. The police were able to find Carmelo Anthony, and when he was caught by the police, he admitted, I did it. There is no doubt. He said, I'm not the alleged killer. I am the killer. I did it. And on top of that, he apparently was asking, could this be self-defense? Do I have a self-defense case here? Now, what is particularly alarming is that a whole bunch of BLM agitators are already out in full force trying to spin this. So Tariq Nasheed is leading the call on this, a suspected white supremacist. First of all, there is no proof that Austin Metcalf was a white supremacist by any means. The reason this narrative is coming is because, as you see here, there are pictures of Austin Metcalf with his twin, with guns and camo gear, and people are saying, oh, that proves he's a white supremacist. Just because he likes to hunt? I mean, it's not as if they were just shooting guns, shooting up things like to have fun. They were known hunters. That's why they're wearing camo. But anyways, Tariq Nasheed, a suspected white supremacist named Austin Metcalf, pictured with his twin, allegedly demanded honor student Carmelo Anthony give up his seat, like it was the Jim Crow era. Carmelo defended himself from the alleged threat. The Daniel Penny case set this precedent. Well, that is absolutely ridiculous. First of all, Daniel Penny was defending a subway car filled with innocent people who said that they were scared for their lives. Many people on that car testified that they were afraid that they wouldn't make it out alive. And the man who Daniel Penny subdued and unfortunately died was making death threats. This is so completely different from that. And it wasn't just that one post. Later, Tariq Nasheed posted, if Kyle Rittenhouse was justified in using lethal self-defense and Daniel Penny was justified in using lethal self-defense, then Carmelo Anthony was justified in using lethal self-defense against alleged bullies who instigated an altercation, correct? No. Putting your hand on someone's arm or their shoulder is not an instigation of violence. And look, even if you think that that was inappropriate, even if you think that Austin should have kept his hands to himself, guess what? Stabbing him in the chest is not a proportionate response. The clear aggressor here, the clear person who instigated violence, who escalated this way beyond what it should have been, who really blew things out of proportion without a question of a doubt, was Carmelo Anthony. Now, look, there is a possibility that there is some evidence or some key context that we don't yet know. I don't claim to know all the facts. I wasn't there. However, based on all the eyewitness reports, based on the news reports, based on the statements by both families, based on the statements by their lawyers, it's hard to imagine that there's going to be some groundbreaking piece of evidence that comes out that completely changes the narrative. Truly. Because if Austin Metcalf was like threatening Carmelo Anthony's life, don't you think we would have heard that by now? But instead, the clear consensus is that, oh no, it was a hand on the shoulder and it was a stab to the chest in response. And what is really disturbing here is the amount of people buying into this. So Carmelo Anthony's father created a GoFundMe. It was initially for $50,000. Well, when they got to $47,000, the father increased the goal to $100,000. Well, guess what? They were approaching that $100,000 goal and he increased it again. You'll see here the goal was updated to $150,000. And as you can see here, they raised $100,716. But that is not all. Once they crossed $137,000, they increased it again to $200,000. I would not be surprised if by the end of today, they end up breaking that $200,000 or even $250,000 mark. It is quickly gaining momentum online. But fortunately, several black commentators and analysts are speaking out against this. I think this is a brilliant take by Jason Whitlock.
Will anybody in the sports media world talk about this? Will any of the Cowboys treat Austin Metcalf the way the Cowboys treated George Floyd, taking a knee all over the place? What's more of a tragedy? George Floyd overdosing on fentanyl under the knee of Derek Chauvin, or this 17-year-old boy, honor roll student, devout Christian, stabbed in the heart at a track meet? But no one's outraged. No, that's a misnomer. People are outraged. But these idolatrous, or these idols that have been installed in our culture, let's see if they have a word to say about this. I don't think they will.
No, and they haven't. Look, a lot of people were leaving comments on my past videos and they're like, Daniel, why aren't you talking about this incident in Texas? And honestly, I had sat on it for a few days because I was waiting for the media to cover it and to hopefully be able to give more context, more analysis, and to maybe respond to some bad takes that come out of the media. But none of that happened. And, you know, I finally accepted and realized this is all by design. They are avoiding this story because it doesn't fit their narrative. It is, unfortunately, a white victim. And quite frankly, there are different victim classes. Like, if the races had been reversed, or if this had been a Hispanic, had this been an illegal immigrant, had this been a member of the LGBTQ plus community, had this been a trans person, the media would be all outraged. Yet, because it was a white boy, no one cares. And that's why I felt compelled to cover this, because not only is it double standard, but it shows the moral decay that is happening in our society. And how can we trust each other? How can we live with each other? How can we trust the social contract we have to live in a peaceful and free and prosperous society where we're supposed to, you know, all be Americans, all support the red, white, and blue, but instead the Democrats are trying to divide us based on not just, it used to be just color, but now it's just all those different categories, including made up ones like all this, I don't know, 76 genders, whatever it is now. And what is crazy is that apparently a lot of the black content creators are now getting threats from lawyers. So one of the ones who posted this letter was Xavier DeRusso, a major content creator on X. He posted this letter he got from the American Freedmen Legal Fund, and they basically threatened him saying, hey, remove your content. You are disparaging and ruining the name of Anthony Carmelo. And my question is who is funding that? Who is organizing that? Who is trying to get people to take down their opinions that they're sharing on the case? I mean, no one has said that the real character assassination here is of the actual victim, Austin Metcalf, of all the content creators on the left who are calling him a white supremacist without evidence, might I add. They're just using that photo of him in camo and holding a gun. And look, even if you don't like hunting, even if for whatever reason you don't like the Second Amendment, that does not make you a white supremacist. It is just absolutely insane what is going on. And so with all of that being said, I wanted to share a video clip from one of my favorite black content creators, CJ Pearson, because he phrased this better than I ever could.
Yo, I'm gonna have to pop off for a little bit. The tribalism in the black community needs to end. It needs to end. Point blank period, it needs to end. The same people who tried to make George Floyd a hero, who built statues of the man and compared him to MLK, are now trying to make 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony, who stabbed to death an innocent young boy, simply because he touched his backpack, a victim. Someone who committed cold-blooded murder, a victim. A victim of circumstance, a victim of retaliation, whatever. I don't care. There is no world in which Carmelo Anthony is a victim. We need to divorce ourselves from this false notion that just because someone looks like us, we need to defend everything that they do. That's how we end up defending people like R. Kelly. That's how we end up defending people like O.J. Simpson. That's how we end up defending people like Bill Cosby. It's wrong. I don't care what you look like, if you're blue, green, yellow, orange, white, orange, or turquoise. If you do wrong, I'm going to call balls and strikes. Wrong is wrong. And what Carmelo Anthony did was point blank wrong. Murder is wrong. This should not be profound. It is simply common sense. Or at least I thought it was. Is it all these black social justice warriors online saying that we need to hear the other side? Here is the primary fact that we're dealing with. A young boy is dead over a backpack because of a kid who didn't know how to control himself because of the conditions around which he was raised. And that is a travesty.
It is a travesty. Again, I can't imagine what other context that could come out that would exonerate Carmelo Anthony. But it's not just the race issue. That is the most obvious thing. I think we are also in an era of cultural decline. And I know I have some people who disagree with me on this, but I've always said what I believe, and it's okay if people disagree. But to me, this is no different from the people who are praising and idolizing Luigi Mangione. People legit are defending him and saying, well, it was okay that he killed that CEO because that CEO had blood on his hands. I mean, it is no different from the radical leftists who are saying, well, it's okay that Carmelo Anthony killed a white kid because his ancestors were slave owners, or he's a white supremacist, or his race has blood on his hands. I mean, they're really like, okay, look, I know that it's a ridiculous statement, but they're both, to me, quite frankly, ridiculous. Wrong is wrong, right is right. The moment we start making excuses, whether it's for Luigi Mangione or Carmelo Anthony, then what's the next thing? Is someone going to make an excuse for targeting Elon Musk or President Trump? Like, you can make excuses for anything, and at some point, someone has to draw the line. And it's not about, no, I'm not on a moral high horse. I'm not trying to preach to people. No, people need to have a line in the sand and know where they stand as far as their convictions and be willing to speak out even when people disagree with them. And that's exactly what I'm doing with this video right now. And yeah, that's I mean, there's a lot more to say, and I'm sure the case will evolve as this inevitably goes to trial and the lawyers on both sides make their arguments, but that's where I stand right now. Typically, this is where I would do the Governor's Club segment, but I am, quite frankly, running late for work, so I'm going to wrap up this video here because I have to hit the road. But if you haven't already, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask for, but it really does help me reach more viewers in the algorithm like you. What are your thoughts on this entire case? I know that's a very broad question, but yeah, if you've heard it and you've been thinking about it over the last few days, or if this is the first time you're hearing about it, let me know what stands out to you down in the comments below. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.